Welcome back, everyone. It's so good to be here with you this evening. Now, I want to share with you how easy it is to piss off any narcissistic person by sharing with you my story on how I managed to piss off an entire family of narcissistic people. And the real kicker is that I didn't even have to try. And therein lies the secret on how to piss off any narcissistic person. Let's get into this. My name is Kevin, and this is... Now, I had every intention of making this video for you outside because it was so beautiful. There was the most beautiful rainbow stretching from one side of the sky all the way to the other. It's actually starting to fade. It looks like I missed it. Doggone it. And because I was trying to capture the old school royal we. How many of you remember when I would do outdoor videos walking all over St. Louis? Yeah, those were the days. I'm going to bring them back for you. How about that? But then this thing happened. This is what I noticed pisses them off. Okay, so the grandfather of this narcissistic and it ruined everything. So here we are back in the studio. We're still going to knock this out of the park with an excellent message that you have to know about how to piss narcissistic people off. And I'll tell you why. But before I do, let me remind you that I'm here to support you. Down in the description box right below this video, you'll find access for one-on-one appointments with me. I do take telephone calls and video calls through Zoom, FaceTime, and WhatsApp. So if you're dealing with narcissistic people, maybe you've already pissed them off and you don't know why yet. I'll help you understand why. Or maybe you want to piss some narcissistic people off. Well, I'll give you everything you need to know. Head on down and schedule some time with me right now. Also, the Rowie does have a private membership available for you where you get daily live support from me with a growing community of people from all over the world. We have weekly Zoom calls. We have weekly fellowship, and so much more on the privacy of a members-only app. You cannot afford to miss out on this. Head on down to the description box, download the Rowie membership app right now, get started, and I will see you in class tomorrow. Now, when it comes to pissing off narcissistic people, it's really not that hard to do. I mean, narcissistic people are pissy anyways, right? They get pissed off at anything. I mean, they're just pissed off. That's what makes them narcissistic people. So I don't want you to get the wrong impression of this video. By the end of this message, what you're going to see is that narcissistic people are ultimately just pissed off, not because you do anything, but because they just are. However, there are, in fact, reasons as to why they are so pissed at you. But the reasons they're pissed at you are actually good for you. Okay? Did you follow that? I know it sounds complicated, it's complex, but let me help you out by sharing with you a little bit of my story. Now, I've talked about the narcissistic in-laws that I've dealt with on numerous occasions, right? And I want to share a little bit deeper into how I managed to piss the entire family of narcissistic people off. I pissed the whole damn family off, right? And it began with some little things that were happening that built up and built up and built up. Beginning with one story I'm going to share with you, happened to be the grandfather of the mother of my children. Now, when we met, in typical narcissistic love bombing fashion, I was welcomed into the family with open arms, and I seemed to be the coolest guy in their home at that time. And Grandpa took a liking to me, the mother of my kids, that is, and started taking me golfing. As a matter of fact, bought me golf clubs. And it's not because golf is my favorite sport. As a matter of fact, I find golf kind of slow-paced and boring. I'm not quite old enough to truly appreciate golfing yet. All right, no offense to those of you who golf. I'm sure it's a good time. Walk around, have a cigar, drive the cart, maybe have a beer, whatever. I get it, all right? But it's still not quite my thing. However, being an empath, as most of you empaths, we will go along and we'll do these things and have a great time simply because of the bonding that takes place between the people. So even though you don't like doing that thing, or it's not something you would typically do on your own, you have no problem going and having a great time because of the bonding aspect of it. The opportunity to get to know somebody and to have a good time. Now, narcissistic people obviously don't see anything that way. Nothing that you do with a narcissistic person is for the sake of bonding, for any long-term understanding of each other. Anything a narcissistic person does is to invite you into their world so that they can submit you within their world. And when they can't submit you within their world, all hell breaks loose. It's almost like you've betrayed them. So the grandpa of the mother of my kids was taking me golfing, even bought me some golf clubs. nothing new. They were secondhand, third hand, fourth, fifth, sixth generation that were picked up at some yard sale somewhere. They were half rusted, but they worked, and they were able to hit the golf ball up and down the green, right? So bought me these things. We were going out. We were having a great time. I was having a great time. I was under the impression that we were really connecting, really getting to know each other. And by the way, this was after I was married. There was one day in particular, very odd behavior, unlike anything I have ever come across or expected to see from this person, the grandpa of the mother of my kids. So he arranged with me one night, be here at 7 a.m. because we're going to go golfing in the morning. It was the same time that we had met in the past to go golfing. Okay. And I even told the mother of my kids, I've got to be over at your grandpa's house at 7 a.m. to go golfing. So there I go that morning to be there at 7 a.m. As a matter of fact, I was kind of early, right? Which is unusual for me. I'm not always early, but I was early. I wanted to make a good impression. He was gone. And I get there and I park and I walk up and the grandmother comes out and she goes, he was waiting for you and he couldn't wait anymore. He said he had to go. And I said, well, that's strange. He told me be here at 7. It's just now 7. So I don't understand. Okay. All right. Now I tried to contact him, said, hey, sorry, I thought 7. No big deal. All right. Missed this opportunity. I'll catch you next time. Not a big deal. I did think it was strange, but being an empathic person, I wasn't mad at the situation. I was concerned. Did I misunderstand? Did he just leave? Now, looking back at the situation, I know that he left prior to the time he told me to arise. Narcissistic people will, in fact, do that. They will set up a time with you to do something. They'll make a promise. They'll make a thing. They'll set a date, and then they will suddenly change it without telling you. And then they will blame you for missing out, for not being on time. It's an effort to try to dominate you or to control you somehow in the situation. I'm going to get more into what I believe was really taking place. So the next time we all got together as a family, I did approach him and I said, man, I missed golfing with you guys. Now, I wasn't that upset about it. I wasn't crying like, oh, you left without me, blah, blah, blah. I was just like, man, a bummer. I missed you. I wish I could have gone. And he was sharing with me about his golf game. He said, yeah, well, I got a birdie and a bogey and thisy and thatty, right? Because that's how people who are into golf like to talk. And his other friends that typically would go with us were also there. So it wasn't like I was the only person that he went golfing with. He had his other friends go too. And he was saying, yeah, and Pete got this and they got a birdie and a bogey and this person got a goal and this person got a home run. And I'm like, man, that sounds awesome. And he's like, you should have been there. You should have been on time. Yeah. And I was like, I was pretty sure you said 7, but if you didn't, my mistake, not a big deal, right? And I carried on. I smiled because it wasn't that big of a deal. I thought, I missed out. He had his friends to golf with. Great. Cool. I'll catch you next time. Next time, I'll make sure, write it down. I'll have the mother of my kids write it down. No issue. All right. I think I even apologized. Sorry if I misunderstood. Not a big deal. And I carried on as though it wasn't a big deal because it really wasn't. Not to me. I didn't feel like it was a life-altering or ending thing. And now herein lies the problem. And what I perceive pissed him off. You see, it wasn't that I actually missed the golf game. Like I said, he had other friends that were there too. That wasn't the issue. The issue that pissed him off happened to be because my response to it, in that I wasn't offended and I wasn't mad and I wasn't angry and I wasn't showing signs of hostility and I wasn't showing signs of frantic confusion. I know you told me 7. I was here and something's wrong. I did not give him the pleasure that narcissistic people seek from really confusing a person and from organizing and orchestrating a way to make someone feel bad. In other words, I was immune to feeling really bad about myself. And this is where narcissistic people start to get upset. In a narcissistic person's mind, hypothetically, let's say he did plan that. I told Kevin to be here at 7, right? If we can listen to the minds of narcissistic people and how they scheme in their minds, this is what it would sound like. I told Kevin to be here at 7. He's going to be here at 7. I'm not going to be here. And it's going to really upset him. I want him to know that I don't care that much whether or not he's there. I will play games. I want to make him upset. I want to see him cry. I want to see him very upset. I want to see him beg. I want to see him apologize and grovel and this and that. But I didn't. I was able to still be lighthearted. I was able to still go over and have a good time. I was still able to talk to him. It did not get to me that I missed out on that golf trip. And like I said, don't take it the wrong way. I did apologize for my part if I misunderstood, but I did not allow the fact that the game went on without me. I didn't allow that to get to me. It didn't ruin my day. Are you following me so far? The fact that it didn't ruin my day and I was still able to be pleasant pissed him off. In other words, it was a failure. It was a failure to the narcissist. It was a failure on their part to upset somebody. You see, a narcissistic person in this life is after your reaction. They want your reaction. They want to see you upset. They want to poke you, to provoke you. They want to find your buttons that watch you melt. They want to watch you launch, so to speak, into anger, into frustration, into crying, into whatever else. And when you don't, it pisses them off because they're not getting the reaction and therefore they can't figure you out. So grandpa over there with the narcissistic in-laws failed to upset me, failed to rile me up, saw that I was still happy-go-lucky, which I typically am, having a good time, not worried about it. We'll golf another day. No big deal. Look forward to golfing with you the next time, right? Now, to the grandpa, that was a very big deal because, again, it's not about the bonding. It's not even about the golfing. It's about I tried to make you feel bad and you won't feel bad. I tried to crush you with guilt and shame and you're still able to smile. How many of you are following me so far? Not if you understand. So that seemed to be one of the first things that took place that I can look back on and I can see. And from there, it was downhill. Because from there, it's as if the grandpa then shared something with the other people, the other siblings, the half brothers and sisters of the mother of my kids. And it started to evolve into this Kevin thinks he's better, Kevin this, and all this guilt. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I'm not crushed and I'm not saddened and I'm not moping around because I missed this golf thing. But then the other siblings started taking these little shots and little jabs. So it started to build. And then I was being mocked and criticized like typical narcissistic people do. They mock everything from me being bald to whatever the case may be. So I'd go over and visit with them and I'd get all these left-handed comments that seemed to have come after that experience with the grandpa. So I'm not exactly sure what the grandpa started to say. Obviously, he felt like he failed in trying to upset me. And so the rumor started, the thing started, but here is where they got pissed off even more. Because with their derogatory comments, with their backhanded comments, and with their insults, guess what my response was? For the most part, I just laughed it off. I'm like, all right, okay, whatever, right? Okay, yes, I'm bald. As a matter of fact, one of them was really angry one time and was snippety with me, right, about something rather, and she goes, and you're bald. Like literally like that. Like, you know, narcissists are. Like they're looking at you talking mad about something and then they just throw that in, and you're bald, right? How many of you have dealt with that? And you're fat, and you're this, and you're that, and you're this, and you're ugly, and blah, blah. It kind of seemed like that, but guess what? It didn't bother me. In fact, I believe my response at the time was, hey, bald is sexy. I'm okay. You know what I mean? And for a moment, she was like, and just kind of huffed away. Well, I didn't realize what was taking place is I was pissing them off more and more and more. The more they were able to see that they could not crush me with their provocations, they could not upset me, they couldn't drag me into this place where I was upset, where I was like, please stop, you're hurting me, and this and that. It was ramping up their aggression even more. How many of you have seen this? You're not getting upset with a narcissistic person. You're not crying to them. You're not saying stop even. And I wasn't like, stop it, knock it off. You're hurting my feelings. Stop. I wasn't. I was just like, oh, whatever. Bald is sexy. Listen, I really don't want to be around the name calling, but I'm cool. All right, whatever. And so it was pissing them off. The fact that what they were trying to provoke out of me was not working. They were failing. Now, watch this. This actually was confirmed, and this is how I know this is 100% the truth about narcissistic people. Down the road later on, I did get back in touch with some of the narcissistic in-laws. I don't recommend you ever get back in touch with these people. I was just at that time trying to clarify a few things, mainly for the sake of helping them to understand that, if I'm ever to be able to trust and understand them, that we need to be able to talk. There needs to be some understanding. Obviously, I'm not going to bring my kids around a bunch of people who want to insult me and criticize me and constantly talk about how bald I am. At some point in time, it starts to become just annoying, aggravating, and I wanted to understand where they were coming from. In that conversation, one of the narcissistic siblings said for the first time, well, I didn't know it bothered you, Kevin. The things I said, if you would have told me back then it bothered you, then I would have stopped. And I'm like, that's interesting. So I had to tell you to stop? In fact, she went even further in this, and she said, and she was speaking on behalf of some of the others. So, Kevin, I don't ever remember you getting upset. I don't ever remember you never cried. You never got angry. You never got upset. If you would have, I would have had compassion. That's word for word what this person said. Blows my mind. I mean, I leaned back in my chair and I was processing, and I'm thinking that. I'm like, oh my goodness. That's what they wanted the entire time. They wanted to know that they were upsetting me. In fact, I believe that was my response when in that discussion. I said, so is that what you wanted? You wanted me to tell you that you were hurting me. You wanted to see me cry so that you can stop and have some compassion. And I believe what I said to her was, is that what makes you feel powerful or something? And obviously, being a narcissist, there really was no explanation. I was met with, after that, I was met with a bunch of, I don't really remember. I don't really remember what was said. I don't remember what I was thinking. I don't remember, Kevin. I don't have any answers. I don't remember. That's what narcissistic people do. They play stupid when you try to bring certain things up that happen. So that's why I don't recommend you ever go back and try to get answers, because they'll play stupid. They'll play forgetfulness. They'll play, I don't remember. I have shut that part out of my life, or whatever excuse they have. But the confirmation was already there. I mean, they let the cat out of the bag. The truth be told is that every provocation, everything they did that was ramping up and getting worse and getting worse and getting worse was because they were pissed, because they could not find my nuclear button, so to speak. Because I don't have it. I don't have a nuclear button. When you're a chill person, when you're an empathic person, you don't have a nuclear button. I mean, yes, you will get hurt. I was hurt by a lot of the stuff that they said, but it's not a nuclear button. It's something that we try to process. Like, what does this mean? What are you talking about? What are you doing? But to a narcissistic person, they're getting more pissed off and more pissed off because of your chill, because you're so cool, because you're not upset. You're not allowing them to dominate you and get you into this place where you're crawling and you're on your hands and knees begging, oh, please, my Lord, stop, which is what narcissistic people want to hear. They want to hear you say, oh, my Lord, stop, have mercy on me. No, not going to happen, right? Narcissistic people are weak little nothings. Now that's not what I was thinking. I wasn't moved in a real negative way by their nonsense. And so in that, I became this wall, this unpenetrable wall, without even trying, because mind you, I was just being myself. Like many of you empaths, when we are ourselves, we just dismiss things. We don't take things that personally. We try our best to, without even trying, by our nature, we typically just dismiss stuff until we can't anymore. Until it becomes so hostile, so aggressive, and so nonsensical that by that point in time, you're just leaving. And that's where I got with the narcissistic in-laws. I started to see, okay, listen, this is ramping up. The name calling is every week. In fact, the whole dynamic with the whole narcissistic family was absent of any love. There was zero love, zero unity, zero togetherness, and zero respect. I mean, at some point I was asking myself and the mother of my kids, why are we going? For what purpose are we seeing these people? I mean, I get that they are your half siblings. I get that you have some form of thing with them because they're your half siblings, but it's absent of any love. There's no connection. There's only bad jokes. There's a bunch of hypocrisy. There's a bunch of criticisms. There's a bunch of put downs. There's a bunch of rejection. And we're doing our best to just walk and smile amongst that, which is just pissing them off even more, causing them to become even more aggressive and put forth more effort to try to tear us down. Why are we going? And so through mutual agreement, we both decided to distance ourselves because it's not worth it. I saw that my lack of response was pissing them off. Nothing I was doing. It was not that I was being mean to them, though that's what they will say. A narcissistic person, by their nature, if they are attacking you, criticizing you, if they're calling you names, cussing you out, if they're trying to tear you down, they will accuse you of being mean to them simply because you're not crying and begging for them to stop. To them, that's mean. Why? Because you're an unpenetrable wall that's not allowing them to break down and get to your core. You're not subjecting yourself to them. You're not submitting to them. And to a narcissistic person, that's very mean. You won't submit to me. That's mean. You're selfish. Oh, I was called selfish so much. Selfish? Why? Because I would not submit to their provocation. Their silly, childish, foolish provocations. Trying to hurt me. I would not cry. Trying to insult me. I would not beg them to stop. And this was confirmed by them. Kevin, you never begged to stop. You never cried. I would have had compassion if you would have cried and said stop, but you didn't. You never did. And when I received that comment from the narcissistic person, I'm like, yeah, yes, damn right. Damn right I didn't cry. Didn't tell you to stop. I'm never going to tell you to stop. And I did let these narcissistic in-laws know that. I said, you're never going to see me cry. You're never going to hear me beg you to stop. I'm never going to even ask you to stop. I believe I said something to the extent of, I'm not your parent. Okay? I will judge you based on what you show me. And then I'll make a decision as to whether or not I want to be a part of that. Period. That was my response. And that's how we should all be with narcissistic people. No crying to them. No begging to them. No telling them they're bothering you, they're upsetting you. You simply stand back, look at their provocations, and judge them according to their behavior towards you. And let them call you judgmental. It's true. Those narcissistic in-laws can call me judgmental all day, and I'll say, you're damn right. I will judge you. And I will protect my peace. I'll protect my family. I'll protect what God has given to me. I will protect that, even against you, even against, I don't care if you're in-laws or not. I don't care if you're blood or not. All I care about is your behavior. I'm not going to cry. You're not going to get me all upset. And man, that just pisses them off. So you see, the whole point of this message is to help you to understand what really pisses a narcissistic person off. How do you piss off a narcissist? How did I piss off an entire family of narcissistic people? By failing to submit and bow down in pain and in pleading and in begging for them to stop, which is the power that they need to feel elevated, to feel alive, to feel worth anything. When you fail to give that to narcissistic people, they get pissed. When you show that you are independent in your joy, in your peace, in your happiness, that you are autonomous, that you have autonomy in your independence when you're with them, that you can smile although they're giving you nothing to smile about, that you can be grateful even though they're purposefully trying to not give you any reason to be grateful, that you can be at peace even though they're trying to steal and rob your peace, because that is what they're trying to do. You standing there smiling at them is essentially the same thing as a bad person, sitting there saying, give me your best shot. Come on, I'll mess you up. That's what they hear when they see you just standing in your peace. It's an absolute threat to them. So you see, this is how I pissed off an entire narcissistic family. And now there is no relationship, right? But should I go back ever and spend any time or have my kids around these siblings, which I don't even know why they would ever need to be. They don't know them. They don't know my kids. My kids don't know them. My kids don't need them, right? Nobody needs these people. This is another thing for you people out there to understand. When it comes to family, in-laws, you don't need them. They're not necessary. If they're of no benefit in your life, listen, there are no have-tos when it comes to dealing with people, okay? But should I ever be in their presence, I'm going to be me. I'm not going to be bothered by their lame provocations. And they can get pissed all they want. And it's still to this day, most likely why they're pissed is because there is no submission to them. So this is how you piss off narcissistic people without even trying. And for each and every one of you who are dealing with narcissistic people, if you want to piss them off, simply remain true to who you are, your peace, your joy. Do not buy into their provocation. If you do, when you start to cry, when you start to submit, when you start to say, stop, you're hurting me, you're empowering them, which is what they want. If you really want to see them pissed off, be that wall of, I don't care what you say, right? And just be loving, though, and be kind, have a smile on your face. It's very difficult to do, especially over time, because it will wear you down. And by the way, the most important thing above all is if you're dealing with narcissistic family members or people, don't even play the game for too long. If you've already pissed them off, as I've discussed, by not being sucked into their drama, the best thing to do is to then just leave. Get away. Break free. That's what I did. Move 5 states away. So they never submitted me, never had me cry, beg, and grovel, and I just got away. And there's no relationship. And that's fine. Get away from them. Don't play their game. The Bible says, do not throw your pearls to the swine. In other words, don't invest and don't exhaust yourself with toxic narcissistic family members, with anybody who's not going to receive your love, receive your peace, receive your joy. Basically, narcissistic people don't even want that from you. They don't know what to do with it. If they see your peace, your joy, and your love, they become offended. Why? Well, because they're like swine who have pearls thrown at them. A swine doesn't know what a pearl is. It can't do anything with a pearl. It can't eat it. It offers no benefit to the swine, so the swine just gets offended by it. What is this pearl, right? They're not going to. The same is true with narcissistic family members or people in your life. You're going to try to give them your joy, your peace. They don't recognize that. They don't know what it is. All they can do is get offended by it. So don't throw your pearls to the swine. Take your peace back. Take your joy back. Be pleasant around them. And in doing so, you will always piss them off because they have no power over you. As I said before, I am here to support you. Down in the description box below this video, you'll find access for one-on-one appointments with me. Schedule your telephone call right now. Schedule your video call right now. I know you need to talk. Let's talk about this. Join the Royal We private membership where you can get daily live support from me. And I look forward to being back here for more right here on the Royal We. Now, check out one of these videos recommended by the YouTube algorithm. If you're brand new to the Royal We, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification so you don't miss any future Royal We content, and I'll be back right here. Bye, everyone.